Look who's back. Good Monday night. This is March, guys. March the 7th. So happy and so glad to be back. We took a little break, remember, for Black History Month so we could show you, share with you, cry, laugh, read some of the accomplishments that have been made by persons that look like Granny. And so we're back. When we started this back in October of 2021, you all know how this came about. Granny was feeling a little um, depressed, if I can use that word. And I actually heard the good Lord, Becky, say to me, let's revisit the book. And I'm thinking, revisit the book? God, it's been over 20 some years, but we did that. Um, and we believe that we've been faithful to what we were asked to do. We've been so blessed with persons that are following us. And so tonight, before we bring chapter 7 to you, which is a, it's a chapter that'll touch you because it touched me. I just wanted to give you a brief um, synopsis of what we did in the first 6 chapters, and then that way you'll understand. Uh, as always, we spoke to the team, and we thought this would be a good idea to start back up this way. So, Facebook, YouTube, uh, Instagram, Twitter. We ask that you continue to support us by subscribing and share. We have a Granny's Old Hands Facebook page, and if I'm not mistaken, we have 87 followers. And for me, that's a blessing that you would take the time and follow me. Two things I need to do. We have 2 chapters left in the book, and I have been asking, even while we were doing the Black History segment, for directions. And so I want to read a scripture to you from the King James Version, and then I want to read it from the Message Version. And this is why, to go further with the last 2 chapters, the good Lord's going to have to tell us what to do because we've had a good time. We've built a staff. We have a manager. We have a Facebook production person. We have a person that guides me on this YouTube channel. The support. My kids, my grandkids, my sisters, my husband, uh, people that I never would have suspected that follow us. And I want to thank them ahead of time. I won't call no names because we don't want to miss anybody. But we're at the junction where we're going to have to make a decision. And so I wanted to share this with you. This is out of the King James Version. And Becky, I'm not trying to bring church, but Granny needs directions. This is coming from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, and I'll read it. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. And this is what I'm asking for. I'm asking for um, God's direction because, like I said, we have 2 chapters left, and we need to know what he wants us to do. Now, the Message Bible, a lot of you may be familiar with it and you're not, but I'll read it to you in the Message Bible. And for me, I love the King James, but this kind of like says, boom, it says, trust God from the bottom of your heart. Do not try to figure out everything on your own. And I can't. I can't do this on my own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do, everywhere you go. He's the one who will keep you on track. Granny got to stay on track. Don't assume that you know it all. I don't understand why the tears are welling up. We haven't even got started good, but do not assume that you know it all. And I don't know it all. Friends, I don't know what direction he wants us to go, but I'm asking him How do we keep moving? Once we do the last two chapters, do we say we had a good time and that's it? And so, anyway, that's what I'm waiting. And I don't know why these tears want to come. Man, Granny, you got to get a grip. Um, let's keep our nation, keep our world in prayer. So much is going on. Even though we were doing a segment of Black History, oh, so much happened. Now, with all that said, you all know that Granny's journey has been to come out of a closet. So I looked up the definition of a closet because I wanted to just kind of like revisit what we're doing with Granny's old hands. The definition says a state or condition of secrecy, privacy, or obscurity came out of the closet. And so the book, Granny's Old Hands, what has she been doing with them? Granny's coming out of the closet. And so we shared the first 6 chapters of our book. And I just wanted to kind of back you up with chapter 1 was where all this started. My grandson, and I have to say his name, and my son Michael. This is where my grandson got his revelations to come in, busting in the house that day and saying, over 25 years ago, dang, Granny, your hands are old. And so that's how we got the title for the book. And in that revelation, my son, Michael D. Starks, I have to call his name, was willing to drive with me. Remember in that chapter, we talked about how we took that 18-hour drive to go visit my daughter, to be there when Laquan was born, stayed there a week. Chapter 1 tells you all we did, making preparations for him to come. We had to come back to Michigan because Laquan decided he'd come the next week. So anyway, with that, our next chapter was chapter 2. We talked about childhood memories. And remember, I hope you can see this. Showed you that little picture of me. See that little girl, that pretty little girl? That was me. Childhood memories. We talked about all my memories are etched in my head and heart. Besides, I only possess one picture from my childhood that connects me to ever having one. Got to show you me again. That was me. That's all. Okay, I don't want to waste time. Uh, that was that was me. Still kind of got the same smile. And then chapter 3, we talked about. Remember this, baby? No name on my first birth certificate. It just simply says Greer Infant Girl. That was no name. And I struggled with that. I said, even in the 50s, they didn't put no name on my birth certificate. Okay, we moved on from there to the lights really do go out. We told you about the adventure that we had staying at my daughter's house in Tennessee. We were there 10 days, and because we were trying to be of service, they cut the lights off. So the kids and I pretended that we were on a camping trip, and we did okay till they cut the heat and the gas off and the water. So we had to shift and go to the hospital, and we found a way to get a cart at the hospital and sleep in her room till things changed. Next chapter 5, and we're almost finished. I just wanted to just bring you up to speed. Chapter 5 talked about the waiting room. Parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles out there. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of waiting in the waiting room at the hospital. My child had coded, and they put us in this little bitty room, and it was there that I took a chance on me. Remember, I went to the bathroom, the little bitty mirror, and Chelsea, I have to call her name, had coded, and they had put her on life support. And I went in that bathroom. My family was there because they said, call everybody, and we did. Uh, and I looked in the mirror and I said, okay, this becomes a fight between me and you. And I was talking to the Lord. I'm not crazy. And so I said, okay, we can do this. And remember in the book, I went back in that room a couple hours before they would let us see her. And I bent down and I whispered in her ear, ooh, come them tears. So sorry. If you want to stay, this becomes my battle. And you know the story. She's still here today. And so I thank God for the waiting room. And maybe some of you have had waiting rooms. Man, Granny, all you're doing is giving a review. Hey, mess up this makeup. Wow. Give me just a minute. But it did become a fight, and it's still a fight, grannies, all over the world. We're fighting for our kids. We're fighting for our grandkids. We're fighting for this nation. That waiting room can make or break you. Sorry. Try not to do this. But each day you come out of a waiting room, and the only way you can come is acknowledging Him in all your ways and holding your hands up and say, while I'm in this waiting room, Lord, it's me and you. All right. And then our last chapter 6 was Granny gotta represent. Yeah, right. Remember, I wore my brother's leather motorcycle jacket. I had on a leather hat and I had the gloves on. And I was trying to be cool in this big expedition. Uh, Showing these guys that were driving down the street and I was beside them. I was trying to bob my head and listen to music and say, yeah, Granny got it going on. And remember in the book when that little bitty beep, 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 beep noise came, Granny was finna run out of gas in that big old expedition. So she had to get to the filling station. But this is the kicker. While I'm representing, remember in chapter 6, I go in the gas station and I got 10 quarters. This happened. And I lay it on the counter. And I'm sure the guy thought, I know she didn't just do that. And I go back outside, remember the book, put the nozzle in that expedition, and I just keep it going. The bay fills up with cars, and I'm waving my hand, and I'm thinking, I can't pull this out at $2.50. So I keep the nozzle in there, and people are thinking, she getting a full tank. Every day, Granny, we have an opportunity to represent. Yeah, right. Whether it be you coming out of your closet, whether the secrets that have almost destroyed you, you kept them, and now you're at the stage of your life that when you want out, it's like, what do I do? What do I do? How do I come out and maintain my sanity? So much mental illness is plaguing our country, our world. Young people are taking their lives because they seemingly don't have hope. We know what coronavirus has done and is still doing, even though here in Michigan they've kind of lifted the restrictions for the mask. I have to continue to wear my mask. I know you hear my voice changing. The asthma and the respiratory problems that I have cause me to have to be very careful as I represent because my physical body is 71 years old, but my mind and my heart, it's a young person, but I have to breathe. I'm on inhalers. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad. Sometimes my voice will change. And when the tears come, I have to take a breath because trying to breathe in like they tell me and do this. But anyway, while you're representing Granny, while you're in your waiting room, maybe you didn't have a name on your birth certificate. Maybe your grandson had a revelation. I just wanted you to know we're back. We're excited. And we're going to go forth with the next two chapters. And again, we've asked for directions. And however, whichever way we go, these hands are constantly coming out every day. Every day. Don't take for granted that you're okay. Because some days we're not okay. You're going to say, why are you saying that? Because some days up here can whisper things and you begin to think, maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe my hands, maybe my lips. But it's Granny's come across your grandkids speaking to their lives, speaking to your spouse's life, your sisters, your brothers, guys, because everybody needs encouragement now. Everybody needs to know that they're valuable, they have meaning, and they have purpose. This is Granny saying on this Monday night, March the 7th. We're back. And we hope that you'll continue to support and join us as we give you the last two chapters and as we get directions of where he wants us to go. See ya. Have a blessed rest of your night and the days that follow. The sun is coming up earlier. It's lighter. We can move around a little more, but we have to be wise. We have to be careful because things happen. Let's keep each other lifted up. Let's encourage. Find somebody tonight, well, to tell that they're valuable, that they're loved. That's what people want to hear. Seriously. Tell them that they're needed. Tell them that they have purpose. With that said, promise you last time, this is Granny's old hand saying, thank you for joining us. And next week, we'll actually start reading. I wanted to, the team and I thought, just don't go right into chapter 7. Boom! Let's give them a refresher, which we did. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you next Monday night. Goodbye.